we have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
We on location in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We just came down from doing the Queen of Heaven skit with the lady in the chair and whatnot. So they have this architecture by Perfect Design, and you can tell this is a penis. This is the railroad that leads around in a circle. So as you see, we come into the shaft of the obelisk, all right, which is in their architecture. And when you get to the shaft, you have a pyramid right here. We can walk over here. Right, so if you line up right here, this is the middle of the shaft. You got two pyramids, so you know that's by design. So come in the middle right here. All right. All right, now as you can see, it's a straight shot, all right? So, and this is where we are. We at the very tip, all right? As you can see, the road is going in a circular motion, all right? So we're at the very tip, all right? It's called Ring Road, all right? Wait till this trolley. Right, like I said, this is the trolley. Goes all the way around in an erectile, an erection shape. All right, so that's the shaft. And when you get to the tip, it's lucky. When you get to the tip of this, the penis, you turn around, and you got Columbus. So imagine that, right? Columbus is in if you notice the ground, it's an oval, all right? And that goes back to Diana. Okay, so we can come over here with the brother.
Yeah, the brother just did a intensive, view of downtown, and I'm pretty sure you showed them the red tower.
Right. So there you go, the light tower.
Light tower from Alexandria.
Right.
Another, Green Fishman, whatever. That's the name of the streets. We make sure we try to get everything, son. And then we're gonna start, we already did. Then we're gonna get on this, bro. Henry, you can go ahead.
This is one of the plaques that surrounds the statue. There's 4 of these plaques around the statue, but these cylinder structures, there's 12 of them around the statue.
Right. So
now,
12.
The cylinder structures represent. Hold on real quick.
That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. 6. 1. Cause I ain't putting nothing behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 6 is 12. Goes back to the 12 tribes of Israel.
And then
they know who you is.
And in the middle here, this is an egg.
Yeah. You gotta pull it back a little bit and show the egg. Right. Oval. Yeah. See this egg? Cause the ground is the egg. So we have shape in the egg. Come on. You did it backwards, but
Right. That goes back to Princess Diana. You just said, and Christopher Columbus is in the middle. So imagine that symbolism.
And he's standing on. He's standing on the globe, and it's a compass on the ground underneath that fountain.
Exactly.
So, and what these 12 cylinders represent are the 12 zodiac signs of the 12 tribes of Israel. So he's standing on the world, and the whole universe is encompassing him. So this is a mockery of the 12 tribes of Israel in our kingdom. That's what this is.
Okay, now we can get back on that. We got to get that, but that's the egg. Yeah, we should go into what the egg go back to real quick.
Oh, with Princess Diana.
Right.
The worship of the
Babylon got it some up on
worship of the woman. And Easter.
All right, now this is the
Read
Zondervan's
out the Bible and break it down.
Compact Dictionary.
I can pass over.
This is page 132 on Diana. It says Diana, the Roman goddess of the moon, identified with Artemis, her Greek counterpart, usually represented as a virgin huntress. The Diana of the Ephesians was
we read earlier, not too long ago, up in Ephesus, where Paul and the other apostles went to take that philosophy out of Ephesus. Go ahead.
It says the Diana of the Ephesians was a combination of the Greek Artemis and the Semitic goddess Ashtoreth.
Yep, those are Artemis is a Greek goddess of fertility.
The patroness of the sexual instinct. Her images were lascivious. Her special worship was centered in the great temple at Ephesus. Now they got a picture also. See? Them eggs that right there, those represents the eggs.
Right. And it's ironic. Right. It's ironic that the penis in Kenosha, Wisconsin, the architecture, you got the penis, and then you got at the tip of the penis an ovum once again, and then you got Cristobal Columbus, which is the sperma. All right. The genealogy of the so-called white man. He's at the tip of the ovum. Very ironic.
Right. And this is one of the plaques that's around this Christopher Columbus statue. It says, "The spirit of the immigrant statue of Christopher Columbus." The spirit of the immigrant statue of Christopher Columbus is dedicated to immigrants from countries around the world who have traveled under difficult circumstances to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the America with the hope of building a better life for themselves and their families.
Columbus was chosen to depict this select group of people because of the vision and courage that he displayed in 1492.
That's when he conquered Ephraim, the Taino, and the Arawak Indians.
That's when he landed on the island of Hispaniola.
It says he proved his theory that by sailing west he could circumnavigate the world. Thus he prevailed over the then conventional wisdom. And really, it wasn't him basically trying to prove a point of him sailing. He always knew the new world was here. All right.
Right, because he read the scriptures. He read the book of Second Ezra. That was his favorite book.
It says then conventional wisdom that this what's that? Feat could not be accomplished. Many of the immigrants of times past and today have demonstrated enormous courage by leaving their homelands under difficult circumstances and often the skepticism of their countrymen to forge a better life. It is that spirit of Americans that the committee recognizes and thus dedicates the statue to all the immigrants who made America unique and the strongest country in the world.
Which all those immigrants who made a country the greatest, America the greatest country in the world, were the slaves. Immigrant is another word for slave. That's why I keep telling you that they came to this country under difficult circumstances or amazing feats. I can't believe I picked up this book from the library called A Pictorial History of the Immigrants. And in this book, it outlines the pictorial history of the slaves. So, 62. Yeah, this book outlines the pictures in the history of the slaves coming over from other countries, calling them immigrants. See, immigrants in bondage. This is page 61.
Just other Israelites who came over here in bondage. All right. It says, go ahead.
In the caption reads, "A 19th century slave market on the Gambia River, Africa, engraving by Andrew and Filmer and Richard Drake." Revelations of the Slave Smuggler, New York, Library of Congress. So you have to go to the Library of Congress to get this information. You can't get this information in a regular library
Because they know you niggas ain't
because it's classified. They try to cover things.
Because it's the worship of Diana. It's the worship of.
It says on the Gambia River in Africa. Now these ships that came to get the Israelites on the west coast of Africa are from the various India companies from Europe. So all of this immigrants, and immigrants have good spirits under difficult circumstances. All of this is a facade. This is all bullshit. Because the difficult circumstance that they had was slavery.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna hold the book.
You already?
Yeah, we can. Okay, so that's that on that. What else we was getting into? Was we gonna do the Easter thing real quick?
Yeah, he read
Princess Diana.
Okay, so he read what that was about. So when you go into the Bible in Acts, they actually put the word Easter in there, which I'm gonna read this first. This Acts 12:1, because you really worshiping Diana. That's why he got this here. But y'all try to say, well, that's in the Bible. I'm finna read it. We finna get y'all to understand. Now about Acts 12:1. Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church, which was talking about the Israelites. And he killed James. Why you think the Israelite came up? And he killed, not no damn building. And he killed James. Centurions?
Cornelius.
Yeah.
You don't even stop it because I'm going to put it on. Cornelius.
Yeah, you just let it roll. Okay. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to four, how you say it? Quaternions of soldiers to keep him. And intending after, meaning?
Yeah, it's like a squadron.
Intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. So right there, that's where y'all get that Easter from, which Easter was actually placed there. Because when you go into
into the Greek, the word is Pesach, which means Passover. That's all it is. Simple.
Yeah. And don't forget, it was the days of unleavened bread.
Exactly.
So we're going to give you the history of the unleavened bread, where they come in at.
This is Exodus chapter 12:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall they should take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye should take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And ye should keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they should take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses, wherein they should eat it. And they should eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with their bitter herbs they should eat it.
And that's where the custom came in, that unleavened bread.
And that's what they went over into Jerusalem to do. Because that's just proving once again that those are the Israelites we was talking to, because the custom was only given to Israel, over there in Ephesus, in Asia. Just like when you go to Acts 2, when they came to the Pentecost, okay, they had to travel 3 times yearly. This is the same, around the same time period. Those are the days of all of our high holy days coming into play.
That's why it says here in Acts 12:1, when it gives you the story, how he apprehended, he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. This Acts 12:3. And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword, and because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded farther to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. The brother just gave the history. He was doing one of our high holy days. So that's why we took him into prison. It basically said 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him for a quaternion of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter. he had to wait till after the Passover because we weren't dealing with no matters, and when it was time for us to do one of our high holy days. That's why he brought him after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
To reign on the Sabbath.
Exactly, and we weren't going to accept or do anything on the Sabbath when it comes to persecution or seeing about arguing if someone going to go to jail, what they sentence going to be, because we was doing the unleavened bread and we was doing the Sabbath. So they added that word in. And that Easter come from Pesach.
Easter comes from the Babylonian goddess Ishtar.
Right.
Which is also Semiramis.
Right. That's why nowadays the women of the elite class is an Eastern star.
Right.
And that's why
they did that. That's good. I'm glad you brought that out.
And that's why the women are all into Easter. They all into church. They all into everything that has to do with the worship of the woman of fertility.
Yeah. And these and the people that's in the Eastern Star, them the high class society of our but it's the high class society of our women and men that's a part of that. And what you think the rest of us don't do? Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna be moving along. We're gonna get on this imposter.
Second plaque.
Okay.
This is the second plaque. It's titled "Welcome to Piazza Consentia." And you see the slave boat. One of the slave boats has a symbol on there for the Knights Templar from the Crusades.
Yeah, which also go back to the Knights Templar, Knights of Columbus, Knights of Motar, and this is their symbol. That's why they men have it on. They warrior class man, which also they not just warrior, but they also are into philosophy and knowledge, like we are. We are a class of warriors. Lord, the Lord is building. Let me start saying the Lord. Yahushua is building His army right here on earth. That's why we have that warrior type spirit, but we also are the philosophers of the world through the scriptures, though.
Because philosophy meaning to knowledge.
Yeah, lover of truth. Lover of knowledge.
And we also scientists, which the word science comes from the Latin scientia, which means knowledge.
Right. So that's what we all about.
But you faggots, y'all falsified us knowledge.
Right, doctor.
So yeah, that was it on that. That's all I had on that.
It says Piazza Consentia was developed by the city of Kenosha.
Right, because a lot of Italians live here, and if you notice in these things right here, these monuments, they have the name of the Italians that actually own stores in Kenosha.
Yeah, get a name of the one.
Tenutas. Name one is Ruffalo.
And Ruffalo is he's a pizza place, but he has a son or a grandson who works at Bradford.
Yeah, and they all in the school system.
And
that's what was going over earlier.
And
school systems.
One of his grandsons, I think it's his great grandson, is an actor in Hollywood. He played the Hulk in Avengers.
See that? Yeah, because these people are well.
Oh yeah, he's from Kenosha.
Yeah, right. That's why these condos you see down here, all over here, all up and down the riverfront. What they deal with now? They deal with people who screenwriters, playwriters, actors, directors. Yep. That's what this town is. This town is set up for them to have a playground.
Their little hub. That's why it's so beautiful. This would be so nice and beautiful according to the worldly eyesight of these people.
Just imagine you're a 25-year-old screenwriter who you have 6 screens you got to get wrote, and they finna pay you $2 million. You finna ride this, you finna go to the best bars, you finna actually hit the expressways. See that's why they opened up the expressways so wide now. You finna drive your new Lamborghini that you finna pull out from the bottom of these garages and hit on the expressway. That's why when you come downtown on 75th, see how they paved that all the way through? Yep. Because you're gonna fly all the way from downtown, all the way out to the expressway, get on the expressway, and enjoy downtown Illinois.
Yeah, that's make it accessible to you.
Right, and they got the airport, so you can get in your Lear jets, you can rent them out, and like the brother said, this is their hub, their playground. While we working in the factories, can't even get a job.
Exactly. Right.
This is it says Piazza Consentia is dedicated to recognize the sister city relationship that Kenosha has forged with the city of Consentia. This relationship was first developed in the 1960s and fostered in 1990s to establish close ties and fellowship with the city in Italy that symbolizes many of the Italian cities.
That's why all the damn Italians is downtown in Kenosha. Because they go back to those Spaniards, okay? They go back to the Spaniards and they said they lair in Wisconsin, specifically Kenosha.
Because this was, like we broke down earlier, this was the port where all the revenue was coming in because they had the slaves docking in on the port and sending us right up this river called Root River that goes through Racine, up through Milwaukee, through Sturtevant, up through to Wisconsin Dells and Green Bay.
Root River. Yeah, I used to work on Root River. I used to do bikes.
We still in servitude.
It says it symbolizes many of the Italian cities that sent immigrants to Kenosha that have become leaders of our community, state, and nation. And there goes that word immigrants again, which were the slaves.
But they became leaders of our community. They leaders is all around here. They children is all around here. Christopher Columbus kids is basically these top. We could be talking to one of Christopher Columbus kids and not know it. We didn't probably curse some of Christopher Columbus kids out, you know, because they all around here.
Yeah, because we come down to today's festival.
Yep.
And y'all see us on the bridge and so forth. Should be one high.
So that's pretty much it on that, right? You ain't gotta read the name.
You want to call them out. John Ruffalo.
No, we ain't gotta read the names of the people.
You know they
we know. Well, just zoom in and get the, you know.
Right, they can read it themselves.
Just read the names.
City council members Eric J. Hoggart, Don Moldenhauer, G. John Ruffalo, which he's a big owner of chain pizza restaurants and hair salons. Kurt A. Sinclair, Sam's J. Spare, Julia Robinson, Catherine Marks, Donald Roof, Everett C. Butler, which Everett C. Butler was is a local counselor here in Kenosha. He used to be a counselor at Bullen Middle School. But I used to go to that school, and he's a Mason. I don't know what degree he is, but he's a Mason. Stephen P. Casey, Ray Missner, Michael J. Pitts, Frank J. Pachetti, Jesse L. Downey, and Kenneth O. Posen. These are all owners of six-figure businesses in the city. City Special Piazza Committee co-chairperson Alderman Don Moldenhauer. See, even people in politics are juiced in with the higher ups and the elites of this world. And Alderman G. John Ruffalo. I didn't know he was Alderman. Members Ron Berzette, Art Strong, Thelma DeGeffa, Mike Lemons, Dirk Nelson, Peter Barker, and Vince Ruffalo. And you notice the name Ruffalo keeps coming up. They're also conspired with the Italian Mafia here.
Why would you go through what I got? They show you how they all.
This name Ruffalo pushes a lot of wickedness. That's why do you think one of his grandsons plays in the most seen Hollywood movies in Hollywood, The Avenger.
Yeah, the guy that played the Hulk. And brother might put his face up on post-production. So.
And he played in that new movie about the magic, Now You See Me.
Yeah.
But I can go over with you because, you know what I'm saying, we have the other things, you know.
This is the hub of elite wickedness.
Yeah, let's go through the come up. Yeah, you want to right here, huh? Oh, okay. You know, sit it down a lot better because the book's late. Oh, right. Yeah, so, let's get into this. And, well, you do that first.
There you go. I got a plumbing stage, a shoelace.
Yeah. Which one you want to do first? I don't know. Let's do him, then we get into his son.
All right. This is
well, let me go ahead. Let me get this out first. Let's just keep on going.
And you rather take this.
There you go. And we're gonna get into some books. Now, all about you said you always try to focus on the water. I always use that parable of Christ was to be standing by Niagara Falls, and you actually still can hear his voice, whether water was running. Because how you think he sat at that riverfront and had 10, 20,000 people out there? If you try to get 20,000 people out here right now today,
I would have to be talking to people way back there to that tree. So that's how you supposed, that's an example of our Heavenly Father and why we have to exalt our voice.
We're gonna pump it. Yeah, so check it out. Alright, so now we're gonna get into these books. The first one we're gonna bring out is Documents of American History. I don't know. Documents of American History. Hold on. You want stop from up here? Stop at the last highlight. Yep. Make sure you sound off though, like the person in Jefferson out there on time. It says for years Columbus had been presenting his like it. Read the title. Okay. This chapter 1. Yep. In chapter 1, privileges and prerogative granted to Columbus. Right. April 30th, 1492. For years, Columbus had been presenting his scheme of sailing westward to the Indies, to the sovereign of Spain, Portugal, France, and England. But without success, finally, in January 1492, right, and that part was a lie. Okay, they say he didn't have success going into India and all of that, but his whole mission and plan was to come over here to the islands to take over the tribes. Because he was a part of a noble family, and he had access to the Vatican Church. Yep. He had access to all the records and the icons and the so-called maps that they had, which we're going to bring it out of another book. It says, the Spanish forces captured Grenada. How you say that? Grenada. It says, the Spanish forces captured Grenada and drove the Moors out of Spain, which was the blacks. That was our last stronghold, one of the last ones. And Ferdinand and Isabella were free to consider seriously the proposal of Columbus. Right, so they basically paid off Christopher Columbus. He was working for them. He was working for the elites so he could come over here. Go ahead. At first, these terms were considered exorbitant and negotiations were broken off. Columbus was actually on his way to France when he was summoned back to court, and the following terms accepted by Ferdinand and Isabella as king and queen of Cristobal. Yeah, because what they did was they binded their forces together and came under one banner. The literature on Columbus is extensive. C.J. Wizard, Christopher Columbus, C.R. Markham, Columbus. Okay. It's Ferdinand and Elizabeth. For as much of you, Christopher Columbus, are going by our command with some of our vessels and men. Right. Now, it said Christopher Columbus, he's going to be going by our command to go do what? With some of our vessels and men to discover and subdue some islands and continents in the ocean, and it is hoped that by God's assistance, right, God's assistance was second Ezra the 13th chapter. So I said he gonna go over there to conquer and discover islands, which they already knew. Why would they say to go conquer something if no people was on the if no people were on those islands?
Right. Over there on that little stone over there said he was discovered. To that extent, so that's hypocrisy.
Right, hypocrisy. He didn't discover nothing. Go ahead. Some of the said islands and continents in the ocean will be discovered and conquered by your means and conduct. Yep. Therefore, it is but just and reasonable that since you expose yourself to such danger to serve us, you should be rewarded for it. Right. How was he rewarded for it? His name is publicized all over the world.
We got Columbus University.
Yep. You got what?
District of
Columbus Day. Go ahead, brother.
The District of Columbus over there on the East Coast.
You also have Columbus clothing.
Yep.
Sportswear.
Yep. What's that name?
Columbia Records.
Yeah.
The Knights of Columbia.
Right.
What else?
Anybody know anything else about Columbus?
Columbia the country. Right. Columbia School.
University.
You got Columbia the country in South America.
Yep. And his name was really Cristobal Colon.
And then you name one of our ancestors Colombians.
Right. The Colombians. Right.
Exactly.
Asshole.
It says, and we being willing to honor and favor you for the reasons aforesaid, our will is that you, Christopher Columbus, after discovering and conquering the said islands and continent and the said oceans, or any of them, shall be our admiral of the said islands and continent. You shall so discover and conquer.
Right. So he tells them, your deal is to go over and conquer. Okay, that's the big lie. Okay, they say he discovered, and they had bad ties with the Indians, but his main agenda was to go conquer. That's what we're bringing out. Okay, he was a devil. He was a so-called Jew. When we get into it more and more. Okay. Now read from here to the next cutoff. So from here to the last highlight part.
Alright. It says, which you and your lieutenant should conquer, and freely decide all causes, civil and criminal,
Right.
appertaining
Do what thou will.
appertaining to the said employment of admiral.
Right. So what they did was they went over there and set up they own basically government system. Okay. He said basically you're gonna go over there and you're gonna establish some type of government for yourself, and that's exactly what they did. Colonize. They call it colonizing.
It says, viceroy and governor, as you shall think fit in justice,
Right. So basically you go over there and make up your own laws.
and as the admirals of our kingdom used to do, and that you have power to punish offenders.
See that? Basically, if they didn't want to hear what you were saying or listening, you got the right to punish them, which is death. So you became the martyr.
Meaning you got all rules to do what you want. So if you need any military help or anything, we would send these warships over there.
And that's what they did.
Any resistance.
It says in this governor verse chapter 2.
Page 2.
Page 2. And you or any that shall have your commission shall have taken the usual oath in such cases.
Right, so he had to go take an oath. And remember, he gonna get he had, I don't know, probably a tenth of everything that they got. He had to go ship it to who? He had to go ship it to Spain, to specifically Rodrigo Borgia, which was Cesare Borgia, the fake Christ imposter, his father.
That's why they brought that picture over here.
Exactly, and that's why in the shows of the Borgia family that they said that the Native Americans came into the kingdom. Into the Vatican. They came into the Vatican and they was talking about, Christopher Columbus, Cristobal Colon, he brought this, he brought that, he brought us slaves back. They showed that in the movie. And that's what it's talking about.
Go ahead. It says that they, for the future, look upon you as long as you live.
Right, as long as he lived. Now this was dated back in 1492. Well, really before the beginning of the 15th century. Okay? So now his name is still being brought up because he did basically a good act. Somebody want to get Revelation 20? Well, we can get that after, but just hold it on deck, because that's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
It says, and after you, your son and heir, and so forth.
Son and heir.
Basically, generation to generation.
Diego Columbus.
We're going to get him next.
Well, we got descendants here in Wisconsin. What's the next level?
Well, this coming.
Spares to get to
Just walk this way, so they won't even see you turning the camera. You got to smile. When they do know that you got it.
Yeah, just 3 steps. Watch the steps though when you go down. Watch the 3 steps.
Okay. His heirs, his son.
Yep.
Which page you was doing first?
We gonna do this.
No, let's do his son real quick, then we'll jump right back to him.
Yep. We gonna do this.
Yeah, do this one first, and then this one. That's why you gotta go through book.
It's called Black Indian by William Lawrence Katz.
Crackers getting up out of here.
A hidden
They
heritage.
want to stop it. They like, keep going. Something ain't right with that.
On page 28, all right? It says the first Africans brought to the New World by European slavers probably arrived in April 1502.
Right, because Columbus was shipping the Gadites, the Reubenites, the Issacharites. His son took over because they said your heirs after you. What you thought he was going to pick up? The slave trade. Yep. But now since the North American Indians and the Reubenites, the Issacharites, and who else? And the Ephraimites were being killed not only through smallpox, but they couldn't work some diamond fields and the lands. They had to go get up. Judah.
Right. It says probably arrived in April 1502 aboard the ship that brought the new governor of Hispaniola, Nicolas de Obando. All right. Soon after they landed, some Africans escaped to the woods and found a new home among the Native Americans.
Right. That was Judah running to Gad and Ruth.
It says later that year, Governor Obando sent a request to King Ferdinand.
See that? Same guys keep coming up.
That no more Africans be sent to the Americas.
Right, because you like people. So that's like us brothers breaking free off the boat right when they come into Kenosha, and here go Gad. So when we see Gad, we gonna automatically speak the Hebrew to each other. His gonna be a little broken because he been here, and his language a little broken, but they still spoke Hebrew. Exactly. So we was able to translate to each other, and he had a common enemy, these damn crackers. That's why these crackers was building forts.
Hell face devil.
Right. It says his reason was simple. They fled amongst the Indians and taught them bad customs, and never could be captured.
Right, because the Gadites to show us how to live in this land and what you can with.